As creators, there are so many things that we have to learn to be successful in this industry, from managing our content and our audience to our personal life and mental health. In Coached, a sub-series of Social Scoop podcasts by SocialMate, we work one-on-one with a member of our private creator coaching community, the Social Suite, and you get to be a fly on the wall during our call. I'm Kristen Bousquet, and I've been a full-time creator for over 3 years and have brought in over $350,000 from sponsored posts and content creation collaborations with brands so far. Social Scoop is the podcast where we teach you, the entrepreneurial creator, to turn your online influence into a profitable, self-sustaining business. Let's dive right in. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Coached by Social Scoop podcast, where every Thursday you get to be a fly on the wall during a personalized coaching call with one of our members. So if you're interested in getting your free one-on-one podcast coaching call, you can become a member of our private creator membership community, the Social Suite. You can also catch our Tuesday episodes where we share weekly news in the social media world and an interview with an industry expert. I'm Kristen Bousquet, and as always, I'm so excited that you're here. Today, I'm here with Caitlin, a creator who shares content around confidence and curvy fashion. So, Caitlin, thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Starting 2023
Yay.
on a good note.
Let's go. Yeah, I don't know why this year I literally at the beginning of every year I always feel like fired up for the new year, but this year just it feels different to me.
I feel it. And like I don't know, maybe we're just like starting to get more optimistic, but I feel good about this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe it is the optimism. I realized last year that I really needed more optimism in my life.
Yeah, same.
So
also, sorry to interrupt you. Can you hear my dog barking? He's in his
a little
kennel.
bit.
I don't know why he's suddenly freaking out, but
I mean, like I'm assuming he'll like chill
he'll
and
calm down. Yeah,
he'll get over it.
he'll get over it. Okay.
I know my dogs do the same thing. All right. So for anyone who doesn't know you, can you just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what you do as a creator, a little bit more about you?
Sure. So my name's Caitlin. You may know me as Sass and Cellulite, which is my Instagram and TikTok handle. And like Kristen said, I talk about confidence and curvy fashion. I share like posing ideas and outfit ideas and like body image stuff and all of the above. I've been doing this not super long. I started sharing content kind of end of 2019. So just a couple years. And a lot has changed, and I've learned a lot over the last couple of years. As you do, you have to learn as you go. But yeah, that's it. What else should people know?
Are you
I'm in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So I'm in the Bay Area, and I am not a full-time creator. I do have a 9-to-5, and this is what I do for fun. So
I love that. Is your goal to be away from your 9-to-5 eventually? Like, do you want to do this full time?
I don't know if I want to do this full time. I also had no idea that you could when I first started creating content.
Right.
Like I was like, I knew people did, but I didn't think like that it would
You're
be
like,
me.
why little old me?
Yeah. I just thought of like the, million follower creators that they would be, of course they do it full time. So that wasn't my goal when I started creating content. As I've gotten into it and really enjoyed it, I'm like, oh, I'd love to make more money doing this.
Yeah.
Making it a full-time income, especially living in the Bay Area, is a feat in itself. So like, yes, I'd like to, but I'm not sure that is like a near goal of mine currently.
I mean, that's fair. I live in Charlotte, so my mortgage is probably like a quarter of your rent.
Right.
So that's very fair. I think it's very responsible of you to, realize that as well, I think you have to be realistic with these kind of things. Like, could you do it full time eventually? Of course, but is it going to be something that you have to work at, for a little bit of time?
Yeah,
definitely. Again, especially when you live in the Bay Area.
Right.
So that makes
sense.
I
feel like I've learned from you, like it's paid, like brand sponsorships is not everything, like, and learning to like diversify your income and stuff is great. So I'm like, brand sponsorships alone would be like a feat to make a Bay Area level income. But I'm like, that plus a couple other things, like maybe,
Right. Well, and so that kind of like brings us into something that we're going to be talking about today is kind of like, balancing your content creation and your 9 to 5 job. Like how is it done? And I think for a lot of people, the goal is, yes, I want to do it full time, but again, like it's not just as easy as getting a bunch of partnerships and you can do that. Like there are so many other options for diversifying your income that you really have to take advantage of and like learn about and do something other than that in order to really make it work. But I love that you're at a place now where you're like, I'm gonna be cool with my 9 to 5. Anything else that I make now is just like extra income. It helps me pay my bills. Like I love
Hmm.
that. And again, like a great starting point for whatever direction you end up wanting to go in. So tell us now, what does your process look like with your 9 to 5 and your content creation? Like, where is it that you're running into roadblocks in your process?
Yeah. So we started working from home during the pandemic. Like we were
Yeah.
fully in the office before. And so from 2020 to like now, we were working from home most of the time. And that kind of
Hmm.
worked out because I was able to like in the middle of the day get some things done. I
Yeah.
do like I'm not salaried, so I do have to like clock all of my hours. So I have to like make up for that time somewhere, but it was easier
Yeah.
for me to like get stuff done. The issue that I'm running into now is that they are wanting us to come back to the office more frequently.
Mm.
And that is meaning that I don't have that time in the day, and I neither do I have the time in the evening because my commute is nearly an hour and a half. So by the time I get home, it's dark. Can't really do a whole lot. So like my time is like weekends only.
Right.
Um, and for a while, like I do pretty well with that. I can crank it out. I can plan. I can batch the content. But
Yeah.
it's just like if I don't have a free weekend, then I'm stuck. If I have
Yeah.
events,
Then
if I
what?
have whatever, then I'm like
Yeah.
screwed. So
Right.
it's trying to figure out like those pockets of time, and then um, yeah, it's really just time
Okay.
and going back to the office. So
So, first of all, I'm so sorry you have to go back to the
yeah,
office.
yeah,
That
I'm
is
trying to
like
work on it.
that is literally everyone's nightmare right now. They're just waiting for the call from their management to be like,
I
"It's
know,
time, come back to us."
I know.
So, that stinks, but also I feel personally like when I'm outside of my house, I am much more inspired to work. So maybe with your job that will actually be like nice to like
Mhm.
get out and see new things instead
I
of
do
like
love like going to
yeah.
my office. Like it's
Yeah.
not I don't mind it. I love working in San Francisco, but
Yeah.
like yeah, it's a
It
lot.
makes your life harder
Yeah, it
with your
does.
side hustle. I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, my question for you, and this is like a huge thing, I think, when it comes to being a creator successfully and doing it very like creating content very consistently is sustainability. Not sustainability of like eco-friendly, but like
Right.
how sustainable is your business for you to be consistent with. So, explain to everyone like what does the typical format of your content look like? Like what are the typical videos that you're pumping out the
Mhm.
most? What do those look like?
So I do a lot of like try on hauls and like outfit styling videos.
Yep.
So I'll order, I'll do like a big Amazon haul and like
Yeah.
order a bunch of stuff and then shoot that all kind of in one day and then edit it all. And sometimes I'll be able to like parse that into a few different videos. So I have
Yeah.
content for a few days. And so it's like try on haul and then like what I ordered versus what I got. And then
Okay.
like
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Um, and then maybe one of those outfits is like similar to one I saved on Pinterest. So I'll do like a Pinterest
Okay.
outfit versus it on me. I do a lot of like comparing outfits on smaller bodies versus my body. I'm a size 16. So
Yeah.
I'm able to like, it's mostly video content format wise. And then
Mhm.
like
Lots of
kind of do
styling.
that all together. And I mostly shoot like in my house.
Okay.
Um, in the same kind of place mostly because that's what's available to me like if
Yeah.
I'm only limited to the weekends um I don't have a lot of time to like
Right.
travel to like shoot locations and do all that kind of stuff. I used to back in 2020. I did a lot more like parking garage like photo shoot
Yeah.
stuff and like cute little um things, and then as Instagram has transitioned to prioritizing more video content,
Yeah.
like we all know, I've kind of like strayed away from that. But
Right.
which
Okay.
on one hand, it has gotten easier because like I can crank out a few videos in my
Yep.
house instead of having to go out and shoot and plan all those things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. I actually feel like video has made content creation much more sustainable for me somehow. Because you think about video and you think, oh my God, it's going to be so much more work. It's so much more of a
Mhm,
production. But somehow, if you can find a way that works for you, it actually is easier than like going out and trying to take a bunch of different photos at a bunch of different backgrounds and,
mhm,
lugging all your clothes around. Like just taking some videos at home is great. So, I mean, one thing you're doing that is keeping things sustainable is again doing it at home and then
mhm,
also multi-purpose video clips that you're creating. So those are two really great things. The only thing that I would kind of question, I'll leave you with this question kind of thing is, do you feel like the type of video with the styling and the try-ons is the most sustainable for you with the limited amount of time that you have? Like I think if you can find the time to create that video that you can make into multiple videos, then that is great. But if you feel like whenever you are trying to do that, you're still like coming up with like, oh man, I don't have enough time for this. There's still so much to edit. Like it still feels overwhelming. Are there any shifts that you can maybe make that can make it more sustainable? Like, let me give you an example. So, I was working with one of my students last year. Her name's Amira, and she was doing a lot of try on videos. Like, all of her videos were styling and try on. And we had talked about this same situation. She was like, I just don't have the time to like create all of these videos and edit all of them. Like, I'm constantly overwhelmed. And so we talked about it. Is there any other videos? Like maybe you did one styling video and then to be able to be consistent throughout the rest of the week, we found another type of content that felt really good for you. Your audience really liked it. And again, it was like very enjoyable and sustainable to create. So, what she started doing was she started making videos where she would do like the green screen a lot, where she was
mm,
doing like Shein, the craziest things you can find on Shein or
mm,
something. And so she would show a screenshot of it behind her. And then basically she would talk about it and like talk about, why it's so crazy and how she could style it and, whatever. But instead of her actually getting the item and, having to do the whole try on and then clean up her whole house after that and then edit this giant crazy video, like she did these really easy, quick videos using that green screen feature. So she kind of did, a little bit of that experimenting to figure out like, how can I get the same message across? Like, how can I get the same point across, but make it easier for me? Like, how can I cut the time in half or even, a fourth of the time of what I would normally spend on this, like, try on 3 outfits in one video and then you have like a giant tornado hit
right,
your room kind of thing. And
right.
and I went through the same thing. Like I back in the day, like when I first got started, I was doing fashion stuff. And then as soon as videos started like becoming more and more popular, I was like, I'm not gonna start this right now.
Can't
Like
keep up.
I
Yeah.
am not like I just know that I'm gonna go crazy. And so eventually I did make a shift as well. So I don't know, like I would challenge you to kind of play around with other formats. I think the green
Mhm,
screen again is a really good one to play around with. And even if you were to do like one small try on video that again you can still use in a couple different ways, maybe you had that one video that can split into 2 or 3 videos for
mhm.
Instagram and then maybe if you wanted to post any more than 2 or 3 times, again, do something that is a little bit less of a production, I guess.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think another thing that I'm like starting to add into my content this year is a little bit more wellness and like fitness content.
Love that.
And I'm not a fitness professional, so it's very like amateur, like real
Yeah.
life person moving their body. And that's something that like I think might be more sustainable for me in the long run
Yep.
because it's like part of my daily routine and like I'm just filming it. So
You're already
instead of
doing
like,
it. Yeah.
right, exactly. Instead of going out of my way to like
Right.
shop and plan, and then I can't afford to do $500 a week of shopping hauls. So
Yeah.
I return a lot of things
Exactly.
and that's a whole hassle. So
Right.
yeah, I'll have to think about different ways to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that you can do too is like look at the creators who are doing similar things to you that maybe you look up to, like who are fashion creators that you love. I guarantee they're not doing solely try on
Hmm.
videos.
Hmm.
Like what are other things that they're doing that you could try your own twist on? But something else that you just said that I think is really important to bring up, especially this year in 2023, you had said, I'm not a fitness professional, like I'm just a real person moving my body. And I love that that's your perspective. And for a lot of people, especially in the last couple of years, I think they would look at that statement and think that is a disadvantage. And I
Mm.
think it's very important for you to remember that is actually a huge advantage right now because just like everyone watching, you are not a fitness professional. So showing how a real person does it, like nothing against like all of the fitness experts
Actual fitness professionals,
yeah,
yeah.
like Kayla, it's Deans or whatever, it's Deans,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I see her ads all the time, and it's hard for me to relate because I'm just like, well, look at you. You literally already look like you
Yeah, I
lift
don't
a
look like that,
million
right.
pounds every day. Like, and of course, if I do her program, like maybe one day I will look like her, but I can't have the same ease that she has in all of these videos. And so I really love the idea of showing how a real person does it because you're being very realistic with people, which again, this year, I think like that's really what most people care about. Like, I want to watch someone's content and I want to feel like I can relate to them. I want to feel like they're going through the same struggles that I am. And like, that's what's going to cause me to hit the follow button and to comment, oh my gosh, I literally did my sit-ups the same way and looked just as crazy, or save that video and be like, wow, she did it that way and she could do it. Like maybe I can too. Like all of these interactions that we want to get from people. I think being relatable and being just like super raw and honest is a great way to again make your life a lot easier. You're already doing these things,
Mhm.
but also build stronger connections with your audience and really just build this community of people who are all very similar.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I think, I mean, because of Instagram has been who it is and changed a lot of things over the years. And it's always been this place where there's always this really curated content, and like
Yeah,
people
perfect.
feel the need to be, yeah, perfect when they show up. Um that people are craving realistic content.
Yep.
And I posted a video earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. Um and I don't post a lot of home decor stuff on my page because
Yeah.
I'm not an interior designer, but I'm just a normal person with a house. Um, which is maybe the theme of this episode. But I got a new dresser, and I had this previous dresser that I got on Facebook Marketplace for free, and I quickly learned why it was free because it was like falling apart. But I like repainted it, and I was like determined to make it cute. It turned out cute, but it did not last very long. So I
Uh-oh.
finally got a new one. So I've recorded this like what it looks like on Instagram versus like what it looks like on a daily basis. It's like piled with
Oh.
stuff. The drawers are falling apart. Literally, the handles have all broken off. It was like this whole thing.
Oh
And
my
people were
gosh.
like, that's what my dresser looks like. And I was like, it was refreshing because I've always felt this need to like have a perfect house to like be
Mhm.
able to have post house home decor stuff on my page. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not realistic to what my room actually looks like. So
Or
definitely
anyone
leaning in.
else's.
Right, exactly. So definitely leaning into that this
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
one thing too that I think also might be interesting for you to kind of like sit on for a little while and think about when you think about your mission statement, your purpose from, 2020 and previously, or sorry, 2022. I literally don't even know what year we're in anymore. 2022 and previous to that, your mission, I'm assuming, was something about like, instilling confidence and, styling inspiration in plus size women.
Hmm.
That's a
Hmm.
huge part of your mission still. But I think with the introduction of, more fitness or lifestyle, wellness, whatever, even home decor, if you're throwing some of that in, you're almost like making a shift with your niche or with your purpose into not solely about like making plus size women feel confident in their clothes, but also making people in general more comfortable with what they have. You know, like again with the fit or sorry, with the cabinet thing, you know, like
Mhm.
that's not anything to do with plus size fashion, but it does have a lot to do with showing someone like this is what you've got. All right, this is what we're going to do to it and like we'll see what happens kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think that might be something to consider going forward from here, you know, like that might be kind of like your new mission statement and you might veer away from solely posting about you know like fashion. And again, that could be a really good shift for you when it comes to balancing the content creation in the 9 to 5 job, but also could bring in a different audience. You know, you might have more wellness focused people coming to you or more you know, home decor or fitness, whatever it is, people coming to you. So you're able to branch out a little bit and build your audience too, which I love.
Yeah. And that's something I feel like because I started with curvy fashion and like that is still a big part of what I do. So every once in a while I'll post on my story like, what do you want to see more of, or what
Yeah,
kind of content you're liking, and people love what I'm putting out, which is great. But then it kind of makes me feel like I can't branch into other areas because
exactly.
my audience is like here for that thing.
You're in your box, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I read somewhere in some book, and I just remember this like sticking with me, and I think it's very relevant for kind of the situation you're in now. You've spent these years, these last few years, becoming an expert in, you know, curvy fashion, but now you're at the point where the community that you've built, they care about curvy fashion, of course, but they also care about you. And so now you're at the point where I think you can branch off and do other things and people still care because they care about you. So the example that I was coming to mind was McDonald's. When McDonald's first started, it was the hamburger. You get your
Mhm.
hamburger and that's what McDonald's had. But like, you know, once they became the expert at hamburgers and everyone just like wanted to go to McDonald's, now we can have all of these other different things and like, you know, maybe 50% of the time you go to McDonald's and don't get a hamburger because there's so many other things, but you still know and love McDonald's. Maybe you don't love McDonald's, but you, for example's sake, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I think it's important for people who are just starting to have a pretty specific niche because you're able to grow quickly and grow like a very targeted audience who relates to you, learns to love you. And then when they love you, when you want to go branch out, they don't care because they just want to know more about you. And I think that's the situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I wanted to talk to you about on this call is like I've grown a pretty decent sized audience
Hmm.
on I have a bigger audience on TikTok because TikTok is a crazy place.
It really
Um
is.
and I've had like random growth spurts here and there on Instagram, and so I have a decent sized audience. We have like similarly sized audiences, but
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I don't know them as well as I want to.
On
And
TikTok or in both places?
on well, both, but TikTok
Okay.
is a little bit harder, I think, to
I agree.
connect with people. But Instagram
Hmm.
mostly, I feel like I try to put up like ask me anything and like those kind of engagement style boxes to get to
Yeah.
know them, or like them be able to get to know me, but like get just zero response to them, like
Okay.
really low. I get people in my DMs every once in a while, like talking about how much they like my page and stuff like that, which is great to
Yeah.
hear. But as far as like day to day interactions, I feel like I'm not getting that.
As much as you want.
Hmm.
And something to keep in mind with that, I think no matter where you are in follower count or whatever, it never feels like you're getting the amount of interaction that you should. Because like I even feel that way all the time. Sometimes I post a question box and I get 2 people answering and I'm just
Right.
like, cool, awesome, like
That
great. Like, you know, why did I
makes
do
me
this?
feel better.
Or like when if I'm on live or something and I have 4 people watching and I'm like, why do I have 20 something whatever followers and 1,000 followers and there's literally 4 people in here?
Right.
What like so I understand that, but I think it's very important first of all to realize that like you're definitely not alone in that. So one thing, okay, I literally am probably going to talk about this on every single episode, but this truly should just show how great it is. So there's this book called Super Fans by Pat Flynn. Um You should go buy it. It is literally like it's just been such a life-changing book for me. So this book basically teaches you how to take your audience up this kind of like ladder from like, the bottom of the triangle where it's the biggest group of people who like maybe they've seen your page, okay, like they know of you. Second is like people who follow you. Next might be people who's like, they're in like your Facebook group and on your newsletter. And then the top is like the people who buy everything you put out and they're like you're commenting on everything, like they're your A team, right? And so it basically teaches you to like get people to go up this ladder.
Mhm.
And the biggest theme throughout the entire book is like care. And it's so weird to explain this. You just got to read the book, but basically it's like showing your audience that they are seen and that you genuinely recognize them and value them. And I think sometimes we get too deep in worrying about what am I going to post or like what do I put as my caption or like what hashtag, like you're thinking about all of those things, but you don't spend enough time thinking about like how can I show my audience like individually to people today that like see that they follow me. I am like I value that. And so basically it kind of teaches you how to like spark more conversations. And so that's something I've been thinking about a lot more. Like when I have people who comment on something, instead of just being like, thank you, I'm like, okay, how can I further this conversation? Maybe I say thank you and then I send them a DM and I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, we haven't talked in a long time. I saw that you could just commented on my photo. Like, how have you been since we last talked? And you all people want in life is to like feel seen and feel valued and like like I think about that in
Mhm.
my relationship all the time. Like I just want to like know I'm appreciated. And I think people, if they can feel appreciated, if your followers feel appreciated and valued and that like wow, she knows that I'm here, she's starting a conversation with me, that makes them feel so much closer to you and so much more inclined to again like go up that ladder to be like your A team all the way at the top. So try and think about ways that like every single time you have an interaction with someone, how can you make this a more meaningful interaction? How can you show that person that you care about them and their life? Like what questions can you ask? What like if it's their birthday, like instead of just commenting happy birthday on their post, like send them a message. Oh my gosh, happy birthday. Like what are you doing to celebrate your birthday? Like these
Mhm.
are such little things and it's hard. It's very difficult because this is a very time consuming, possibly tedious process. But that is the small little bits of work, like the little seeds you need to plant in order to get more and more people up that ladder. And when
Mm.
you have a ton of people up in that A team, you don't worry about engagement anymore. Like you have this community, they're already sharing your page with their friends, they're telling everyone when you have a new offer. Like and the goal is to get people up there, but the only way that you can do that is really by like finding ways to show them individually that they're seen and that you care about them. So read the book. That was my summary of the entire book, but there's a
I
lot
love
of
it.
strategy in the book that is just so good. I love
I
it so
think I heard
much.
another creator talking about at least the ladder structure. It might have come from that
Okay.
book
Yeah.
recently, but maybe I will have to pick
I I'm not kidding. I destroyed that book in literally like
it up.
24 hours. It's so good. But yeah, I mean like that building stronger connections with your audience. Obviously, it's not just, okay, responding to comments and being a little bit more caring in your comments and whatever, but also again like in your content as we talked about, like how can you make your content something that people are going to see and feel more related to, or like even how can you make your content something that people see and want to interact with and like start a conversation about? Those are important things too. Like one video you did that I think actually does this really well. You did like a posing video. I was cracking up the whole time because I think you had like fallen over in one of them when
Oh
you're like
yeah.
trying to, but like those are the kind of things that I think people would see and like want to comment on because it's like, oh my gosh, I literally last time I was trying to do a shoot, I did the exact same thing and I fell over too. Like those things are so relatable and that's another level of getting your audience to feel like they are part of more of a community, like going
Yeah.
up that ladder even more.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I love doing my posing series. I haven't done it in a little while, mostly because I usually have to do it outside, and it
Yeah.
has been raining forever.
Oh
So,
gosh.
um,
Ay, ay, ay.
yeah,
That doesn't
but
help.
and then it was like winter sun hours, so there's like no sun
Oh, right.
outside after 4
Yeah.
p.m. So, yeah, but I will be bringing that back soon,
I love that.
hopefully.
I think that's like a genius. I think it's a genius series. And I mean, series as well. Like, people love a series, you know? Like, if
Mhm.
I find one video in a series that I like and I'm like cracking up or I'm loving it, like, I'm gonna go watch the rest, you know? And
Yeah,
that's how you get people coming into your community and commenting on more things and viewing more things. And, you know, your numbers start to go up too. So series are really good if you could find a good one that again is
I'm
sustainable.
starting a new one. I posted one video introducing the
Okay.
concept, but I'm intending to turn it into a series, and it's basically making movement fun again. So I
Ooh,
wrote down a
okay.
bunch of individual exercises on pieces of paper, like squats, crunches,
Yep,
jumping jacks, whatever, and then folded them all up and put them in a jar. And then whenever I want to like move my body, I can just pull out as many as I want to do, and it like
that's
makes it
cool.
different every time. It makes it fun.
I like
And then it's
that.
like a little game. I feel like everything
Right.
in 2023, I'm like, if it's a game, then you could do anything.
Then we're fine, we love it.
So,
But something with that that's cool too is, like, as a viewer, I would wanna go and watch your video and be like, "Ooh, which one is she gonna pull out of the thing today?" You know? It, like,
right.
almost has an element of suspense.
Yeah, exactly. And then like if I hope that other people want to do it as well if they're looking for a
Yeah.
fun way to like get
Right.
into exercise. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So,
I love that. And
stay tuned.
this is like a way to, I guess, take this almost to the next level too. Um, and it's I don't even like want to encourage it, but I do at the same time. So like Facebook groups, I don't know how I feel about Facebook, but I know that groups on Facebook are like that and Marketplace are like the only thing holding Facebook together at this
That's
point in
literally the
life.
only reason I have Facebook is to be in
Yeah.
the social mate group.
Literally, yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
accurate. So groups are huge on Facebook still. So if you wanted to again like take people up the ladder, get them more involved, maybe you even as you're doing this series say, "Okay, come on into this Facebook group. We're all going to do this together." You get
Mm,
people in a little community, but also everyone that's in that community gets to interact with you again on a personal level multiple times per week. They become more, you know, related with you, but then also they meet all the other people in the community and they're like, wow, she put this community together and I have all these people that are like doing the same thing as me and can relate to me. Like it's hard. I know that Instagram is like trying to come out with some of their own version of groups, but I think Facebook yeah. I think
yeah.
Facebook does groups very well and that could be again something that is a really good way to like just have small groups of people that you can like have it be more manageable, I guess, to create those stronger connections with people.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
It will be fun. And the thing with Facebook groups too is like at first it's usually you having to like initiate all of the conversation stuff, but at a certain point when more and more people get in there and get comfortable, they end up, you know, taking a lot of that off of your plate like without even like purposely doing so, I guess.
Right.
So, that could be something to think about as well.
Yeah. That could be really fun.
I love that. Sweet. Okay, well, we are at the end of our time together here. I hope you are feeling more excited, motivated, inspired. I know when I'm at the
All
end
of
of
the
these
above.
calls, even me, I'm just like, ooh, I think I have some ideas for stuff I want to
That's
do
how I feel at
too.
the end of all of your episodes. Like I have to listen to
I
them
love
at a
it.
time where I like have time to write things down because I always get ideas.
I
So
literally
thanks,
love
Kristen.
that. I love that. And that's exactly what it's like in Social Suite in our membership. We have those monthly one on or monthly group calls that we do where, you know, we're able to all get on and like bounce ideas off of each other and it's a lot of fun. So for anyone listening, you can hop into the Social Suite. You can use code SCOOP for 50% off. Caitlin, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. I'm glad we got to chat more.
Thanks, Kristen. It was great.